Well, hello everyone! Welcome back to Dual Destinies. Previously, we spent quite a long time cross-examining Yuri Cosmos. He was telling us many lies in a row, giving us the runaround with a story about him running around literally in a circle. Oh man. But, when we left off, I think we're finally about to broach the subject that I noticed way earlier. I think at some point the two astronauts walked out of the museum, not Launchpad 1, but the museum, because of that 2 on the floor obscured by the elbow in the footage. I think we're about to broach that subject, and I'm very excited to see where this is going. Oh man. Anyhow, let's pick things back up, shall we? Talk about hitting below the belt. Yanans these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Oh! Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then, after the incident... Oh... I didn't consider that. I thought it would have to be where the Space Museum currently is. Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. Really? You'd think that would be done in, the control room, but okay. And it would be right where the police found it. Gah! Oh, even he's doing it. Starbuck's not even here. You made him sigh like Mr. Starbuck. Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you, however. Our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film. Who says that? Filmless film? Oh, right. So to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Ah! Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved. But our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket? Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe... Huh? Prosecutor Blackquill, what if I told you that the two astronauts never actually set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? And what if when the director moved Launch Pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull or I'll cut you. Oh my god. I want that screenshot framed on my wall. Oh, that was peak Blackquill right there. Oh my god. Oh. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It is all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmos' reason for moving Launchpad 1 was to trap the true killer. Oh. Well. No, I think it was to switch it with another place. We were just talking about this. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place. I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? What could he possibly have switched it Launchpad with? Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This was what was switched with Launchpad 1. The Space Museum.
Take that!
For sure.
Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum.
In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1, and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. You can't mean... The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum. But how would they get as far as boarding it? Balderdash. He would say Balderdash. Like, would they walk in, immediately see, like, the displays and the hanging alien sculptures and be like, oh, what's going on? Alright, back we go, what's going on? Anyway. And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places. That's right. And with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from boarding Lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter Launchpad 1 from boarding Lounge 2. And set the bomb on the rocket. Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from boarding Lounge 2... Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Exactly. Anyone could pass through the door to the Space Museum. There is no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. Gah! Got him there. After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into boarding Lounge 1 and waited there concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackquill, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who, we can suppose, after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. How? You need a... Oh, right, yeah. They used the handprint from Starbuck. That's right, we talked about that. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway.
Right, Dono. I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff.
Ow. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence!
But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword.
That's right. You have no proof I switched the launch pads.
Somebody needs a better anger management counselor.
If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere.
At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other.
So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belonged to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage?
Huh? That number on the floor. Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackquill.
And if this is just another bluff?
Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that, beyond this door, is the corridor to the Space Museum.
Very well then, answer this for me if you would. What in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
Yeah, I don't blame them for just spelling this out at this point. Because this game originally was on the Nintendo 3DS. That's a pretty tiny screen. And this is a small detail. Like, I'm mentally picturing my huge-ass 1920 by 1080 monitor here, squished down to the size of smaller than a smartphone, or just about that similar. Yeah, this would be very, very tiny. Huh.
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor in the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2.
What?
Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see is the one to the Space Museum.
Ah! Ugh.
And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke.
That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1 on the side opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level.
Just incredible! The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude.
Yeah, that's really important. People were climbing down the side of the building at the time of this going on. Or just before. Or just after, I mean. Someone surely would have noticed. Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. Oh. Alright, yeah. Well, surely they'd hear it. I'd imagine it'd be loud as hell. Maybe, I don't know. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. Noise level 0. Got him. Thanks, Widget. No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth.
Yeah.
My honor, my glory. Everything is slipping away. Time to deploy the ultimate weapon. Galactic Engine Ignition. What? It's gone haywire. It won't stop. Yeah. My stars, my glory. Oh my god. Oh, no, not that way.
Actual Looney Tunes.
Bailiff, on your steed, and after that, witness.
Steed? Oh my god.
I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm.
Director Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads?
I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum. Ah, it is good to hear words I can believe for a change.
Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why.
Probably not a good time to try to pry it out of him, huh?
Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing.
I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars. Huh.
It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
I don't get it.
Don't get it? What don't you get?
Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us. Mr. Starbuck.
Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why, but I had to do it to protect the Space Center.
Director, will I ever get the chance to go into space again?
Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
Then the dream is still alive.
Silence!
Uh-oh. This is not good. You're not going into space, but Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. If there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? Ah! Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. We are approaching levels of edge heretofore unseen. If I'm gonna die, I want to die in space. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself. Oh. Saved by the Fulbright. Alright. That doesn't even make sense. Now, you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackquill. That annoyingly cheerful laugh can be none other than... champion of righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust.
Detective Fulbright?
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late.
I don't believe we had an appointment.
I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. He would do that. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell ya, justice sure is a full-time job.
Was it a fight between cats, or... Why are you here again?
Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served.
Whoa.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Fulbright. I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed?
Ow. Rude.
Nope, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment.
What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you.
Why do I have a bad feeling in my gut?
No.
He wouldn't forge evidence, would he?
No, he wouldn't. No, surely not. Okay.
I didn't think he was serious, though.
So what is it, Detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? It is indeed. Have a look at this. A bloody lighter.
Okay.
What's this? A lighter? That's right, a lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood along with his killer's fingerprints on it.
That is incredibly convenient. I'm getting scared, actually. This is... What? Yuck!
Order? Order. Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet. Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent.
This is it. This is just what I needed.
Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with the lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through the boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one to drop the lighter there.
Silence!
But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection!
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with a lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackquill, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit.
Gag!
This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims.
As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck.
No, there must be some mistake.
Frankly, Prosecutor Blackquill, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence!
Oh. Maybe there is a statute of limitations.
Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that.
Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Or is it the anniversary?
Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime. A few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover.
I take it you don't know who the fingerprints belong to? On the lighter?
But for now, this court finds a defendant, Solomon Starbuck, not guilty.
Really? Whoa! Okay. Interesting. Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright. Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best. Oh, I wish I could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now. Yeah, me too. But that's going to have to wait.
Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Why do I have the most awful feeling?
Objection!
Oh? Okay. Alright. It's too late to object, isn't it?
It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong.
Prosecutor Blackquill, are you dissatisfied with the verdict?
Fulbright, what were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter?
Oh, the results. Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and, well... I kinda got carried away when I heard the prints weren't Mr. Starbuck, so...
You have yet to read it?
Prosecutor Blackquill, can you read out who the prints belong to?
Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes.
Okay. Oh, we're doing interesting things today.
So says the report.
What? Huh? Me?
Order, I say. Order. Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion.
I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit. This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece, and I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? Gah! What have I done? Please forgive me, I'm sorry.
Order! Order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying.
What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad.
Order! Order! I will have order!
Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. Case closed, huh? That's the end. Oh, shit! Yeah, I'll save. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, so this is a bit awkward where I'm standing. We're 30 minutes is halfway of what I usually like to do, but God, I love to have a clean break, and frankly, I'm overdue for putting up a few Elden Ring videos. Honestly, I think I will have to end things here, so let's return to the games menu and have a chat. Oh my god. Costumes. We need the sweet side of Feeny to soothe us. Okay, so, yeah, alright. Alright. I understand what the fifth case is now. Yeah, we're going to dive deep into this history. 7 years ago, with tomorrow, presumably the setting of the fifth trial here, going to be the final day anything can be done to resolve the events of 7 years ago. Blackquill, Simon Blackquill, Ara Blackquill, Athena, that mysterious unnamed person on the far right of the photograph who was wearing the kimono, and I don't know, I feel like maybe related to Athena in some way, and Apollo going his own path to find the real truth. It's all going to clash together. Damn, this is inspired. It's like, God, it's like they dedicated an entire case just to set up the next one. And they still had a compelling mystery the whole way through. You know, I've heard negative things about the 3DS Ace Attorney games. Nothing specific, just that they weren't that good. Bullshit! These are incredible. At least this first one. Dual Destinies friggin' rules. Does it suck that you can't manually explore environments and look around and get funny dialogues? Yeah, but that's literally the only bad thing I have to say about it. Wow. So, I'm trying to think. I know Maya Fey was accused of murder at least once. I think Kay Faraday was too, or maybe I'm confusing it with another thing that happened. Which I won't mention because of spoilers, because Ace Attorney Investigations 2 just came out in the US for the first time recently, so no spoilers there. Maybe, no, I think Trucy escaped unharmed, I think? Well, what I'm saying is, it's not surprising to me that the weird little girl got accused of murder again. Even though maybe only one of them's had it. I know for sure. I know Maya. So I wonder who we're going to play as in the 5th case. I was thinking it would be Athena. We'd play as Athena to finish it out. And I'm not sure it would be Apollo necessarily, because he's gone his own way. Maybe we would finish as Phoenix, or, you know, it would be nice if the prospective protagonist swapped, like round robin. All 3 of them would have a time in the limelight. That'd be amazing. I want that to be the case, yeah. God, I hope they stick the landing. The setup is immaculate. Chef's kiss. This is some good stuff. Like, I'll be real, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is the absolute peak of the franchise, and nothing I've seen in this game approaches the peaks of Great Ace Attorney, but this is a pretty damn high peak as far as Ace Attorney as a whole is concerned. Oh, I can't wait. But I guess I'll have to, so... I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Dual Destinies. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care. Oh my god, it's gonna be the end of Dual Destinies soon. I'm not ready. Oh god, I'm gonna have one Ace Attorney game left? Oh no. No, I'm not. Don't go. Don't go, Ace Attorney. I need you. No.